Testing. I can hear myself now. Can you hear me?
Testing. Yes.
Okay. So we're back? Okay, great. So we are back.
Yeah.
So Keith was just sharing with us about her purpose and how she was trying to play God and use her purpose at job, even though God was telling her to do something else. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Keith, I was telling you during the break that in 2017, I was there where you are. Still hitting a little bit, Peter?
I think it's this cable. It's gotta be this cable.
Okay.
This heat. I'm telling you what.
Yeah, it was the cable.
Yeah. Yep. When you hold it.
It's there.
I'm just gonna stand there.
So whenever we, in 2017, I was there. Now, first of all, I worked for CDC for 30 years. And if Ms. Wilman was here, she would tell you every Friday I was quitting. I was like, I'm quitting this job. I'm done. And just like you, every time I would share it with my family, that I knew that there was so much more to life than what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're to the point that you're getting up, you're not feeling value, you're not happy, and you're dreading, you're sick, and you're angry all the time, it's just like, God, maybe I need to do something. You know, working for the government, all I heard was, you better not quit that good government job.
That part.
That part, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, ah. And so in 2017, it just seemed like it wouldn't stop. It was just one thing after the other. People that I worked for did not value me. I felt used. And it was just a nightmare. And I got very depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to therapy
Yes.
to see my therapist. And she was talking to me, and this lady, again, she resonated with me. She saw me. She was like, well, why are you there?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because I got these bills, but I got 2 kids in college. I got this,
Mhm.
yada, 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 yada.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remarried, and we got all these, we building our family together. I can't just go quit. I was making over 6 figures. I just
Right.
got this good government job. And so my therapist told me she really think that I needed to take some time away from the job. And just to reflect and to meditate, to do some
Mhm.
mindfulness exercise, and just really get centered and just listen to God. So during that time, I went and got my real estate license.
Okay.
And then it was 2 weeks prior to it was time for me to go back to work because I took off for 6 weeks.
Weeks. Okay.
It was 2 weeks before it was time for me to go back to work, and it was what I call Eclipse Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so the eclipse was about to happen, and I'm getting ready because I wanted to see the eclipse just like the rest of the world. But I remember laying there on that bed, and I'm like, because I'm enjoying my time away, and I'm like, God, I just do not want to go back. I wasn't present at all. I'm already starting to have anxiety
Yeah.
about having to go back to this job in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I just don't want to go back to that place. And then the Holy Spirit says, quit, do it now. Resign your job, do it now. I didn't even think about it. I got up, I got my laptop, I sent the email to the director and said effective immediately. This serves as my 2 weeks notice. I'm not coming back.
Wow.
And I hit the send button. The moment I hit the send button, the eclipse happened. And it's like God turned the TV up, the volume on my TV, and I heard all the screaming, and it scared me. It woke me up. I'm like, then I realized, I just quit my job. What did I just do? I'm like, oh my God, I just quit my job. Then I was like, ooh, I ain't even having a conversation with my husband. I just did it. Right?
Right.
And then the TV broadcaster, she says, eclipse mean reset.
Wow.
Right. And it's like that moment God said, I just reset your life.
Wow.
So I quit. Tony came. I called him. I said, hey, so what had happened was,
What?
and I told him what happened. And Tony said, oh, good, because I was so tired of seeing you come home stressed every day.
Wow.
So he was cool with it, right?
That is so. First, thanks for sharing that. My journey, because I'm just reflecting, and so much of what you said, I can resonate, but it was opposite for me. Mm-hmm. So I am the person that always push people to operate in their purpose. Mm-hmm. And I know that's my purpose, mm-hmm. right? So much so that even in marriage, my ex wanted to do acting, and he was acting and all of that, but he was never able to do it full time. Mm-hmm. And so he would come home, seem like every day, and he was complaining about this job every day. And I seemed like I was always in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And this particular day he came home, and I knew it was like clockwork, right? And I was like, just quit. Mm-hmm. And I had not planned for it. I had not, like, let me make sure before I tell this man he can quit, And he was like, what? I said, just quit.
Right.
Go pursue your acting career. and you would never be able to say that you was not able to go and live and try, and I didn't support it, you know? And he thought I was playing, I think 2 days, that Sunday came, and I was like, dude, where's your resignation? And so he quit. And I reflected on that just recently, how I didn't prepare for it. I didn't plan for it. I just knew that we was gonna be okay, maybe because it was in my hands, right? I was like, you know, I got it. We ain't gonna fall. The girls, they didn't miss a beat. They was dancing and cheering. Nothing. They didn't miss anything. Everything fell on me. Now I'm in another situation, right? And I'm like, why are you having such, you just told that man just to quit. You didn't do no budget. You didn't make sure. And so that's what I had to sit with myself, self-reflect, even with myself, to say, well, what is it? Because you allow, you know, you just told him to quit. Why you just ain't did it
Do it
yet?
yourself.
Right.
Yeah. But see, but again, I think that's why we're having this conversation.
Right.
God is telling you again, Keith, just go do it.
Right.
Because you didn't miss a beat then.
I did
And the same
not.
thing to me. Now, I thought I started doing real estate. I had something to fall back on, but I was green. I didn't know nothing.
Yeah.
But when I got my first client, then I got my second client, and the end of the first full year, 2018, I'm like, man, I was killing the real estate game. Girl, and I got that 1099.
Oh.
I'm like, oh my God. I was like, Tony, I didn't know I was broke. I didn't make anything. I think it was like $29,000 for the whole year,
Yeah, right.
coming off 140 something for the year. I'm like,
right.
but we didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss a beat.
We had money in the bank.
That's when you
We
know
did.
God is.
That's when you
know God is.
And what he says, I can do more with your 29 than you could have done with the 140.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the same thing. When you really trust God, there is no lack
No.
in a child of God. There is no lack.
And so mindset, you know, all of that, undoing what you've heard, you know, why are you
That
going
poverty
all
mentality,
all
all
of
that
that
stuff.
And so just working through those things had brought me to the point where I was like, okay, I'm going into the office on Tuesday. I'm going to go. I have to, because as long as I'm at the house, then it's like, oh, whenever I go and see them, then I'll do it. Because unlike you just sent the thing. We have to go into a whole system. We have to go and down. We have to put it in the system. We have to push a button, and they have to
Oh,
ask
for
you.
real?
Oh yeah, it's a little
It's
bit.
a process.
It's a little bit more of a process.
Right.
And I was like, why can't I just send the letter and be
Right,
done
right.
with it? So so yeah, that's been my thing. Is like gonna have this conversation because it's long
Well, one
overdue.
thing that I've only known you for, let me see, when you said Thursday, Friday. 5 days now.
5 days. Yes.
But I saw your seat at the table.
Yeah.
I saw your seat at the table, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I saw your sisters on the right and on the left of you.
Yeah.
I saw the Aaron and the
Oh wow.
that's holding you up.
Yeah.
Then I saw the captain of your ship, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
That's constantly just know your name,
Yeah. Right.
know you personally,
Yeah.
called you out personally.
Every time. Yeah.
And it was as if God was saying to you, Keisha, I got you.
Yeah.
Because when I stood up Friday and I said, you know, I asked God that for this year to change my circle and my circumstances, and I was in that room with so many amazing, powerful women that look like me,
Yes.
and that's so free. Like you called me out of the blue.
I did.
We didn't agree to be accountability partners or anything, but God laid me on your heart, and you called me, and you just started drilling me about what's your platform? What you
I
doing?
did.
What are you working on?
What you working on?
What are you working on your business today?
I did, right. And that's just like my thing. Sometimes I teach classes at the church, and I'll do like a 10-week span or 6 week, and the same thing. I was like, okay, so what we doing today?
Right.
But that's just in me. But because yeah.
And she came, y'all. She wasn't playing. What you doing with your business today? But I've made a lot of progress. My book, I got it back from the editor. I haven't looked at it yet, but I saw it popped up on.
Yes.
And I've got my cover.
Okay.
And so I'm ready to go to that next chapter of my life. But I know that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, and thank you for that. I feel like it. I feel like what I feel in my spirit is everything that I've ever wanted is on the other side
Of your obedience.
of my obedience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let me
I
ask you
know.
this. What is your greatest worry, your greatest fear about taking that leap of faith?
I think it came down to my baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 girls.
Okay.
And so I think the last one, she's about to go off to college. I'm about to be an empty nester.
Okay.
And I never wanted to, because she had to experience the divorce mainly. I mean, the other two girls were already out.
Gotcha.
Making sure, and then I had to share her with her dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know. I just always wanted to make sure that that she didn't lack from her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But I already know that little check
Mm-hmm.
is nothing.
So technically, she is lacking through her mom because her
She
mom
is.
won't step into her purpose.
And here's the thing, she told me, and she should have been right there on that mic.
Right.
She told me, she said, when are you gonna leave that job?
See, any child shall lead them.
Yeah, and she says, because I've like brought her up a couple of times, and she was like, it's so boring.
Mm.
She was like, how do you go there every day
Mm-hmm.
and do that? And I'm like, oh,
Mm,
you know.
right.
And I was like, well, because I'm trying to make sure you
You're
good,
okay,
you're
right.
okay. And she was like, So she said it again. And I told her, I said, well, I'm actually about to, thinking about going ahead and do that. I said, but so just be mindful of this trip that you're asking for and all these things. Sometimes it may be a no. She was like, no, I just need you to wait until after these trips. I need you to wait till after these things. Now I guess I got the clear because all
Right,
that
'cause
has
that's
happened.
happened, right.
But yeah, she said it a few times, but I know I can't continue to be in that space.
Right.
And I have to be careful of who I share it with,
Yeah.
because
Everybody
everybody
ain't
ain't ready. And even people who are already walking in and doing it, they was like, well, first you need to make sure you're making some money over here, or make sure you got a plan. And I was like, no, God is the plan.
Period.
Like, I don't know. And so in that moment, I had to be like, just you and God.
Because I think you're going to get a
It's gonna do-
different energy.
Right.
Because you don't have that. So now you're going to just go ahead on and do what you know that you can do.
do. Mm-hmm.
Because you said the first, what we learned on this weekend is that y'all started in the same class together.
Oh, we did. Yeah,
Right,
we
right.
did. And that was around the time, 2014 is when God initially told me to leave. I met her in 2015.
Oh, wow.
Right.
2014 was just a transformational year.
Yeah,
I
it was
think.
for me. Yeah, I actually end up with a severe case of hormonal imbalance. I talk about it in my book, girl. And God set me down for like 2 whole months. I couldn't hear my kid's voice. I couldn't ride in a car. I felt like I was closing in. I mean, every symptom of PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, was what it was. Every symptom, I had it on steroids. And so I had 15 out of the 18 symptoms, but that's when God spoke to me the most.
Wow.
That's the only voice that I
That
can
you can
hear. And that's when I knew I was going to be a coach, because he told me,
Yeah.
he already had told me the year before, but because I laid in fetal position, like, oh, you had to tell me. But I had never heard of life coaching at the time. And so I was like, what is that, Lord?
Right.
Like, I was like, in the morning, I'm expecting you to like really tell me. I
Right.
cannot get up and get dressed another day without knowing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I was like really crying. And the next morning I woke up and I heard it so clear. And I was like, I got all excited. I was like, but what is that?
Right.
So I run to Google.
Right.
I was like,
Right.
life coach. I was like, that's such a thing.
There is such a thing.
And I got and found a class or school, it was like, okay, I can get certified in this. And the instructor was very mean.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted me to, she asked for a volunteer. So I volunteered, not knowing I was volunteering for. And she was like, just go, you want to be the coach. And then she had somebody else to be a client. And she was very mean, like I wasn't asking the right questions. And she's like, you're not here. What she said? I'm like, lady, that's why I'm here.
To learn.
To
right.
learn. And so I got discouraged. And I was like, Lord, you gave me the wrong thing. I'm up here trying to do what you tell me to do. Clearly that ain't it. You saw how that lady just chomped me out. I ain't doing that. But 2014 came back around and he said it to me again. And so I already knew, that's what I was supposed to be doing. And I've been doing it. But I guess the way Keisa wanted to do it,
Right.
and not how he, because in my mind I'm doing it and asking him to bless it along the way. But he
Right.
was like, you asking me to bless something that's not, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. That was then.
Yeah.
This is now.
Yeah.
You have to call me when you make that move.
Yeah.
I had a client who was just like us. She hated her job. She
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
wanna
no
go. She knew
fulfillment.
that it was right.
Yeah. Right.
And so she kept saying, but I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Now, the whole time, I'm miserable on my job, too. And I'm telling her, girl, you just got to trust God. You just got to do it. And I was like, and every time I would tell her that, like, you hypocrite. You ain't doing it.
Right.
And so I did it first.
Right.
When I did it first, and she was like, oh my God. And I called her. I said, you know what? I had to quit my job. I had to do it for you.
Right.
I have to be the change I want to see in this earth. I have to be what I'm telling my client. I can't have a life, my lips say one thing and my life
Not
say something else. They have to be cohesive. They have to be saying the same thing. And it, you know, again, because of how we were programmed, how we were wired, you know, you go to school, you get education, you get a job, and you retire just so we're broke. I just retired, and I'm like, for real, this is going to be my check. Wow. You know,
Right.
you're like 30 years for this. Okay, cool.
And then a lot of people, when they retire, they might not have CDC, but they still have to go work.
Okay.
So you
You gotta
have
get a
work.
job
You have
somewhere
to,
else,
yeah,
yeah.
and you don't gave your life 30 years to somewhere, and you still have to go pick up something to supplement, you know?
Right. That illustration about what's blocking, I think you were in that line. You
Oh,
represented-
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is keeping you back
Mm-hmm.
from reaching your destiny? And all of us, I mean, I think everybody was crying at this point because we saw ourselves in that illustration.
Right.
Life happens and we hide behind all of these things. How much are we?
No,
almost there?
no.
Oh,
I
we got
I wanted to tell you something, but I wanted to read it
Okay.
verbatim, and I keep going back to it because it really stopped me in my tracks. And this was making me really sit with Keisha. You have to do something about this. Like,
Yes,
you
I
can't
can't
keep
wait.
talking.
I just
Yeah.
cannot wait to see.
You will know. You're gonna know. And this is what really got me to say I have to have this conversation this week. So while we were there last week, I think we was on a break, and I pulled up Instagram,
Okay.
and this is the post that was there. The longer you wait for the future you want, the less time you have to spend in it.
That gave me chills. You heard that, Tony? You heard that, Peter?
I did not know.
Read it again. Peter missed that.
The longer you wait for the future you want, the less time you have to spend in it.
Isn't that deep? we can just drop the mic on that. And that is the truth. And so many of us in this world are waiting for that perfect time that
And
will
it's
never
not-
come. It's never
not
going to
gonna be
come.
a perfect
You
time.
have to create it.
Yeah.
I shared on Friday, that I don't know why on Wednesday, when I walked in the room and just, I guess I heard in the spirit there's a fear of lack.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of people's like, I kept hearing, well, I don't care how much it costs. You know, I just hope it's not this, that, and the third. And I said, well, we live in a world of abundance, and we just have to create it. And me and Tony, we have a money affirmation. I shared it.
Yeah,
I
you
said it pretty
did.
fast.
I was like, oh,
but-
she know that. That means she is really walking that.
That's part
Because
of
you
me,
knew,
girl.
yeah, right. That's a part of her.
That
Yes.
is who I am.
Yes, yes.
And we say that every day.
Yes.
And I was sharing that one lady I shared it with. The next day she got $20,000 and.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I remember you saying that. Right.
And then I won the
$200. Yeah.
Another lady I shared the affirmation with.
She won the two.
$200.
Right.
And then today my daughter-in-law called me. She shared it with her mom, and her mom got an unexpected check in the mail for $1,600. So at the end of the day, whatever you need,
Right.
if it's part of your purpose, it's going to come. And I always ask people, have there ever been anything in your life that you needed, not that
Right.
you wanted,
That you wanted.
that you needed, that it didn't show up?
Right.
It always shows up.
Right.
We just got to get up our way, Keitha.
Yes.
And just let God do what he does in your life. And I know, again, you're around too many people who have done it before.
Yes.
That you know that you can do it.
Yes.
Now, so Friday
Mm-hmm.
will be the last time you're not on that stage getting your award.
I high five that right here. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Right.
Right.
Take
But
it.
right. You're absolutely correct.
I see you getting your superwoman picture.
Yeah, I actually I see it for
I see
myself.
it.
I see it.
Right.
And you know, even when I was talking to Dr. Sonia, I was like telling her, I said, you know, I've been over here trying to do this thing my way. Like, Lord, I'm still doing it. Like, but why you not blessing it the way I'm doing it? It's not like I'm like, yeah, I know what you told me to do. I ain't finna coach nobody. I'm still doing it. I still make more time for that than I do my own job, you know? So it's like, why can't I do, you know, whatever? And she's like, you know, that don't work that way, right? And I was like, yeah, obviously.
So
you know.
partial disobedience is
I
still
know
disobedience.
disobedience, right?
Yeah.
And so
No, partial obedience is still
this
disobedience.
is still
Yeah.
disobedience,
Right.
and it's even hard. You know, it's I feel it when I even talk about it. I don't feel good, you know, and that's good because I shouldn't, right? And constantly having to keep repenting repenting
I'm
from
sorry,
not
Lord. I'm so
right,
sorry, Lord.
right, like, you know, Lord, like, thank you for the grace. Like, you know, I'm really, but I'm very honest with him.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I'm right here. Like, you know, why am I not trusting you right now? Why, and it stemmed for some things that I had to self-reflect and say, this is why I think I haven't taken it. Even outside of my baby, there were some things that I was trusting God to do, and he didn't do it. And so for me, not that it's like, I do trust you in some things, but that's really major. And I think the thing that I was trusting him for was really major.
Right.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
he wants you to trust him in all things.
In all things. And so, but I had to reflect and pause and say, Lord, why is it so hard for me to leap? And I remember telling my therapist, I told you I go to her for everything.
Right.
And she just turned around and she had this little saying or thing, leap in the net with catcher. And she just pointed to it. She's like, I'm just, when you want to do this?
Right.
And I was like, yeah.
Jump and develop your wings on the way
Way
down. Just
yeah.
jump.
And I sit here and I say this, hypocrite, you know. And I say these things
to your clients.
to my clients, to
A lot of
people.
your clients are waiting on you to take that first jump.
Yeah.
You owe it to your clients. You owe it to your
I even
daughters.
somehow see, I somehow see it already. Like, once it happened, I already saw what was supposed to happen. Like, the things, the conversations that's going to come out of that. And even my girls, I mean, I've been really talking to them, you know. Because they know I'm big on, like, my baby girl was like, I might not want to go to college. And I was like, okay, but what we're going to do?
Right.
Like,
What's your plan?
What's your plan? You know, she's like, well, I want to be an entrepreneur. Bet. What you want to do?
Okay.
So
She waiting on her mama to do it.
Yeah. So she's, you know, so right. But she
So,
sees it.
so when you go to the office tomorrow?
I go tomorrow. Oh, Lord, Paula. Like, yes,
Tomorrow,
I do.
okay.
I do go to the office tomorrow. I'm so checked out.
That's okay. I'm so excited for what's next with you. I
Yeah.
mean, everything is relevant.
Yeah.
It was not by a coincidence that you called me
I
on today.
called you
Because I'm
today.
going to be on you.
Yeah. I
Uh-huh.
called you today.
Right, you called me today to be on here for us to talk about why you
You know,
need
I
to
don't
go
have
on
an
and do
accountability partner no
what?
more.
Well, you didn't have one?
No,
You didn't?
I
Look,
had. Look,
You didn't have one? you
you know
called
what I
me.
mean? Right. I did call you. Right. Right.
Well, I'm excited,
Yeah.
Keisha. I know we're probably short on time. Tell the listening audience where they can find you. How can they follow you? How can they be in touch? Do you have any events coming up that they may want to chime in on?
Yeah, so I am on all social media platforms as Keisa Campbell. That's Keisa with no H.
Right.
Campbell like the soup. CampBell. So I'm on all social media platforms as Keisa Campbell. My website, KeisaCampbell.com. And I have a masterclass coming up on this Saturday.
Okay.
Reclaim Your Life
Okay.
masterclass. So if you are interested in joining that masterclass, it's free. Just go to go on Instagram and sign up for it.
Okay. And Keisa, if you will send me the link, I'll put it out on my pages too,
Okay,
so that people can
awesome.
sign up for your class.
Thank you.
So yeah, we thank you, Miss Keisa Campbell, for coming at the very, very last minute and just blessing us with what you're doing. Tony over there clapping, so I think that means he enjoyed
Enjoyed
our
it.
conversation on today. And so we'll have to have you back.
Yes,
My sister, we'll have to
yes,
have you back.
Yes.
And so this is Coach PBJ on this game called Life. Life is a game. We just got to learn how to play, and we're going to play to win. Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's Peter Parker at My Fusion